All right, Xfinity Homestead. This is going to be my settings. They're my normal settings for Xfinity mile and a halves. Pretty much use everything. I use them from all of them. 57 you're going to need because you're going to want to use that trail brake to rotate the car, especially in turn 3. Turn 1, I use it a little bit as well. It's a little less consequential there, what my brake bias is at. I think it's going to be a lap 2, but lap 1 was pretty nice as well. So I'm going to try to do a nice lap 1, and then if not, we'll make it a lap 2. Alright. So I'm going to enter right by the wall, just really easy. But you always lose grip in the middle of the corner here. And I'm going to try to get on the throttle, let the car rotate itself. Try to keep the wheel under it. There should be a decent run up for the lap here. I'm going to enter right by the seam, let the car slide up. Full throttle as the car rotates. Might have to pedal it a tiny bit if you find that it's stepping out too much. The goal is not to, though. Okay, turn in early enough, smooth off the throttle, trail brake down to the white line, then just roll onto that throttle, let the car start to slide up, and then go full throttle when you think you can get the rotation off the corner. A little loose there, but good enough.
That was your fastest lap of the session.
I'll take that. Even if it's a second lapper, which I think potentially, usually, sometimes it is. It was close enough for me when I tested to where first and second. I think I'd rather have 2 attempts at this first lap than a 1 attempt at a second lap. That's how close it is. Okay. So run up, I guess we should look at. So you see how I roll out of the throttle just extremely early here. And then right when you're running the top, this little Darlington stripe on the wall here, like, that's not for decoration. That's where people hit the freaking wall. For whatever reason, there's might be bumps up here, but there's just no grip in this part of the top where this stripe is. So I just have to roll through it with half, and the moment I pass the end of that strip, that's when I go on the throttle. And I have to save it a little bit, but in theory you don't need to. It's a little difficult. Okay. So I'm running like a fake Darlington line. Aim my left sides for the seam. Trail brake to the seam. So smooth off throttle. And then trail brake to the seam. And then throttle up the track. The only difference between this and the trucks is that the truck should throttle through the seam here because there's less grip in the Xfinity car and the throttle is a little more powerful. I actually just try to trail brake to the seam, and then it'll start sliding up, and that's when I pick up the throttle, maybe add a little steering wheel. And I'm not able to get full throttle until my car turns off the wall, but you can kind of hold that 70 to 80 and it'll do the same thing. 100 there would just rotate me too quickly. It would spin my wheels and it wouldn't be very good. So throttle off the wall, and then in an ideal world, your nose is kind of pointed down here, so you don't have to worry about the exit. But because my nose got straightened out a little bit, I must have not committed enough to the throttle. It was a little sketchy, and I think it was just because of my corrections there. But it should just rotate itself once you're able to turn it off that wall. Then 3 and 4, trying to get to that white line really late. So this was actually a pretty good angle from me. Before this white line right there, you see the white line that I cross right there, right here? I want my steering wheel to be pointing down to the white line. I want my wheels to be lined up with it, and I want to be on the trail brake all before that white line. And then I just hold that trail brake. I could have held it probably a little more there, and then transition to really easy 50% throttle. It's not going to stick down there, but it's going to be enough for me to make the corner exit by smooth throttling up to 100%. And yeah, it's going to get a little loose, but that's part of it. If I was on the trail brake for a little longer, then I would have had less of a loose moment off the corner, but I would have had to wait on the throttle a little longer, so I don't think I would have carried as much speed. So you really need to be right on the edge of that 3 and 4 there to maximize the time. Smooth throttle. All right. Long run line, completely different from from the qualifying line. It's really how the Xfinity car and how the truck behaves is exactly the same in my opinion. Well, not exactly the same, but like the principles are the same. So you're going to be hearing me repeat pretty much everything I said in the truck video if you've already seen that, and vice versa. So really for my long run line, I do this once I get room. So if I have 2/10 off my back bumper to the next car, I just run this like really easy white line. It's not that much slower, but it is slower than like pushing the outside or pushing the first lane or seam or something like that. But I just get my car to land down the white here, and I just roll it right on the white, super easy on the throttle, and then not even worried about getting it up off the corner. You see how like I didn't even really care about going to the wall. I also lost 3/10 to my qualifying time there, so it's a little slow. I would want that to be about a tenth and a half, maybe a tenth per corner faster, for it to be like completely viable off the start. But what you're gonna probably do is run 3 to 5 really hard laps off a restart to maintain your track position. And I do recommend you do that. I don't want you to save like this right off the bat. But once you are kind of strung out, then that's when you come and you do this line. And really, an Xfinity car, oops, a little mistake there. In the Xfinity car, you should be down here within 5 laps. I don't see a reason why the tire fall off wouldn't make the top like that much better than here after 5 laps. Really even 3 laps is what I'm thinking. Because these tires do definitely heat up and fall off faster than the trucks. And you're just a lot more consistent and fall off's a lot better when you're just coasting, not coasting, but I keep missing that angle in 3 and 4. You're really not supposed to leave that bottom lane. Alright, I'll try to focus up and get a good one here. It's a really interesting line. We just kind of bring it to the white early. Kind of just get on the gas as early as we can, but not pushing it too much. And then when we're ready, that was a little early, too early of a full throttle. It slid me all the way up the track. I didn't need to do that. Here I'm going to turn a little later because I've been struggling with that. And that should just stick us to the bottom, yeah. And if we do that right, see how we don't even need to come back up to the wall there? That's how we want the car's exit to be. One more lap here. Smoothness really matters on this line. But that's how long run looks when you're trying to save tire. And I think you will be at certain points, but definitely don't go for this line super early. Just to compare it, let me try to run like a really fast lap with my current tires. See how much better it is. So, okay, so even now we're about 5 laps in. Definitely better in 1 and 2. So, it's a lot better to run the high line in 1 and 2 in my opinion than 3 and 4 because there's just no grip there. We'll do one more lap on the high line. So you can run a hybrid of this too. You can like do the tire saving line in 3 and 4 and then run top in 1 and 2. Just remember like this. Oh jeez, I didn't like that. This top shreds your tires, as you can see, and and it's so much easier to make mistakes. So it's really about what situation you're in. But yeah, the top isn't even that much better in 3 and 4 at this point. 1 and 2, it's still probably a little better. But as the run goes on, just running consistently on that bottom will pay huge dividends. Even running those couple laps up top. I'm assuming tire wear, okay, right rear heavy. And that's going to happen when you run the top because it really puts a lot on that right rear. If you can just really gently drive the car along the bottom, make sure it's not sliding up too much in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, you're going to keep that right rear pretty cool. All right. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you all on the track.